Good evening and welcome to the council meeting of the town of Newmarket on Monday, February the 10th, 2014. All members of council are present with the exception of Councillor Hempin. Mayor Van Bynen is presiding.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. There are no matters of public notice, and there was one correction to the agenda identified earlier by the acting CAO. So could I have a motion then to amend the addendum to withdraw item number 3 under deputations? Councillor Emanuel, Councillor Kerwin, all those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? There being none, then we'll go forward to presentations and recognitions. So for me, it's a pleasure to announce that Mr. Rob Brutton will be receiving the Ontario Cultural Heritage Achievement Award from this council. This award is given for his outstanding contributions as a volunteer with the Historical Society and the Museum. Rod is a retired firefighter with the town of Newmarket, now known as the Central York Fire Services, and he spent many hours working on collecting model fire trucks, historic uniforms, equipment, and newspaper clippings dating back to the 1800s. He has worked on various assignments for the historical reenactment of the Rebel Heartland, and Rod has also worked on research relating to local Newmarket history, volunteering as a tour guide at the museum, and sharing his personal collections with the community. So congratulations to you, Rod, and I'll have members of council join us in presenting the awards. Right? Speak to Apple later.
Right here.
There you go. Congratulations, the certificate of achievement. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Congratulations. We'll have a picture. There we are. Oh, we got. Sorry, Tom. Congratulations. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize Mr. Athol Hart, who will be receiving the Lieutenant Governor's Ontario Heritage Award. This prestigious award commemorates those who have contributed greatly to heritage conservation in our community. Athol will receive this award in a formal presentation at Queen's Park this month. Athol has been an advocate and an active participant in Ontario throughout his life. He has extensive knowledge on Aboriginal culture, architecture, and is a keen advocate in the preservation of our culture and other heritage items. Congratulations, Athol, and we certainly would not be able to match the ability for our Lieutenant Governor to make the award directly at Queen's Park. So our thoughts will be with you, and I hope you're as proud of what you've accomplished as we are. Thank you. Deputations, we have Joy Holton and Brenda Northey. From the In From the Cold. Joy and Brenda.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor Van Bynen and members of Council for having us here this evening. My name is Joy Holton and I am the Chair of the Board of Directors for In From the Cold. With me is Brenda Northey, our Executive Director. And we are here to speak to you about an upcoming fundraiser in support of the Inn. On Saturday, February 22nd, there will be a national walk in 63 locations across Canada called Coldest Night of the Year to raise money and awareness in support of the homeless. Newmarket was chosen as a location for this walk for the first time last year in support of In From the Cold. This year we have an ambitious goal to raise $60,000. All money raised in the Newmarket location stays in Newmarket to support our winter shelter program at the inn. We currently have 21 teams registered to participate in the Newmarket Walk. We are currently at 24% of our goal, and with less than 2 weeks to go, we have a lot of work yet to do. On the day of the walk, the registration begins at the Newmarket Community Centre at 4 p.m., and the walk departs from the Riverwalk Commons at 5. Participants can walk 2, 5, or 10 kilometers. Anyone who's interested in participating in the walk can join one of our existing teams, including the In From the Cold Northern Lights, or they can create their own team. You can also support this effort by donating to a team or individual who is registered to walk. We are also in need of some volunteers to act as road marshals on the evening of the walk. If anyone is interested in signing up as a volunteer, a participant, or to make a donation, you can go to the website, which is www.coldestnightoftheyear.org. It is an extremely user-friendly website, and you can find more information about the inn and the walk at the website. I'm now going to turn it over to Brenda to speak very briefly about the inn.
Good evening, and thank you very much for having us both here. I know a lot of you are very instrumental to starting In From the Cold, so I just wanted to give a very brief outline of where In From the Cold is today. It started as an emergency winter shelter, and it's now what we affectionately call a hub for the homeless and at risk. So we not only have a winter shelter that now lasts for 5 months, because originally it used to be mid-November till the end of March like most shelters, we are now actually opening till the middle of April. We offer 3 meals, we offer laundry facilities, showers, and very friendly volunteers, about 250 that volunteer. So that's the winter shelter, and we kind of believe in a 3-pronged approach. So we have the housing or the shelter side of it. We also have the employment program. So during the day, we now have year-round day programs. There's a comprehensive employment program which lasts 12 weeks. It's been very successful. 80% of our graduates get jobs, and 80% of our graduates, over 80%, still have those jobs. So it's very successful that way. As well, we have a social catering, a social enterprise called Eden Catering, which a lot of you are very familiar with, and thank you for supporting it. We've had our pop-ups here, and we're planning to expand to other places. But that's been also very successful in helping people with mental health issues, preventing them from becoming homeless. So while it's equally important to service those who are homeless, it's also equally important to prevent. And finally, on top of that, we have a community meal, which a lot of you are very familiar with. We have a health and wellness program, which we're very excited about. And what the most important part about that is we talk a lot about collaborations and partnerships. What this does is it gets over 15 agencies from outside around York Region who offer their expertise to us. So they come on site and they offer counseling and addictions. They offer help in mental health. We also have 5 of our employment agencies are from external. So we don't duplicate. It's a very efficient model, and it's also a great way to use the expertise in the community so that we're not reinventing as well. So that's our health and wellness. We're very pleased with that, and I hope as a lot of you are founders and some of you are mayors or volunteer. John Taylor's also been very instrumental, and Jane Twinney, actually, if you want to support the Coldest Night, please support the counselor over there. We have a hat for her. Or you can support any one of us. But thank you very much, and I hope to see a lot of you there.
So in closing, I'd like to thank you again for having us, and also thank you and acknowledge we've had a long-standing partnership with the town of Newmarket and with this council, both past and present. You have provided us with a great deal of support, assistance, volunteer, and we do appreciate that, and we look forward to continuing that partnership in the future. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Joy. I have a number of speakers here. Regional Council.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the presentation. I will put on my Coldest Night of the hat,
Okay. All right.
risking a messy head in a council meeting, but there you go. And I just wanted to say that, to people watching tonight, if you recognize the importance of having a shelter such as the In From the Cold in our community, and you recognize that they're not just providing that shelter, but they're providing day programs, employment programs, and how this is absolutely necessary in a community today, particularly a community of our size. that you just take the time to see if you can be a part of this Coldest Night of the Year. Again, it's coldestnightoftheyear.org. It's an incredibly important organization in our town, and I hope people can find the time to support it. Of all winters, this winter, I think people have felt just the harshness of the winter and what it must be like to struggle with being homeless. So I will be supporting Councillor Twinney and jumping on Councillor Twinney's team, and thank her for taking the lead on that, and looking forward to the event. But again, thanks for everything you do and represent in our community.
Thank you. Councillor Vey?
Thank you very much. And Joy and Brenda, thank you very much for everything you do for our community. This extreme cold that we've had, this really demonstrates to everyone the extreme, the necessary need for this program. So we do thank you for everything you're doing. And I know many members of our council here were involved in establishing the program and certainly supporting the program. The Coldest Night of the Year walk, my wife, she was on your team. Was she not, Jane? Yeah, she was, and she'll be continuing doing that again this year. And for your entrepreneur program, your lunch program, your dinner program, I know as a member of the library board, we do use your service and providing dinner for us when we meet in the evenings. So anything that we as a council can do to support In From the Cold, we certainly will. It's one of those charities, one of those needs that we all feel very close to. So thank you for everything you're doing, and thank you for your deputation tonight.
Thank you. Councillor Sponga?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Joy, and thank you, Brenda, for being here. I would be remiss if tonight I didn't mention a gentleman has been instrumental in supporting the less fortunate in our municipality, and that's former Mayor Tom Taylor. I remember the first time that Tom approached us at council back in 2003, and I must say that at that time, I'm not sure if it was regional councilor yet or not, but Mayor Van Bynen was very supportive right from the beginning as well, and I know he's been involved with that organization since its inception. But I still remember discussions about the fact that we needed to start opening up a place, and it was getting very chilly, and the need and the service has only grown since then, so it's incredible. Having just been appointed chair of the Newmarket Food Pantry yesterday, I just so welcome the opportunity to have you make this opportunity to make this presentation in front of council and touch on the issues of collaboration and partnerships. And I think it's so very important. So I'll make sure that the Newmarket Food Pantry has a very strong team and to support the In From the Cold, because I believe it's a brand new chapter, and we all need to work together in addressing a growing community that's just going to have bigger and bigger needs in terms of poverty and assistance and so forth. So kudos to you, and looking forward to working together. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Twinney?
Brenda, for coming out tonight. I won't expand. All my colleagues have said all the wonderful things that the organization does, and I think one of the most important things too is to remember that preventative measures is one of the most important things. So the fact that you've got those programs in place, I think, is important. It's important for the community to know that you're doing all those things as well. And I still wear my yellow hat from last year. So Newmarket Night Crawlers is the team, if anybody wants to donate to it. It's a very easy website to go on and navigate through. So thank you, and we look forward to it. I don't know if I can do the 10 kilometers this year again, but I'll try. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kerwin?
Just to reiterate what Councillor Sponga said, truly without the former mayor of this town, Tom Taylor, there would not be an In From the Cold. When he reinforced it, there was fantastic opposition to it, and that was its location. Not the thought, but the location. And he stood his ground, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And that's really the fortitude that we've had from our mayors over the years. And because of him, you have In From the Cold. And he did an exemplary job. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that, because it was like the yellow brick house when it first started many years ago. And we really didn't know what spousal abuse was. all these things take a great deal of fortitude to persist and make sure they're successful. So congratulations on what you're doing, and I'll be wearing one of your hats. Now, where can you buy them? At the walk? Or can you buy them ahead of time?
We haven't even thought about that, because they're not like the toques of raising the roof.
Right?
So all the money stays in Newmarket, and the point is, if you participate,
Okay.
you get a hat.
You get a hat, okay?
But
Because,
we may on the day of, but there actually a shortage of hats.
Right,
So
okay.
we try not to, they encourage us not to give too many away, but I'm sure we can find something for
Okay.
you. It might be last year's yellow one.
you see, I used to wear, Ray Snow was also another counselor, very involved. Well, like, we all became involved in different things, and he was very involved in the homeless, and we used to get the hat, he used to sell them. Everyone bought them, not once, but twice, so it's a great idea. I'm sure you're going to be seeing all members of council wearing them somehow. They'll be there. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor. I've passed my hat along to you. Unfortunately, I have a prior commitment, and although Roxanne and I will not be able to participate in the walk, we have been volunteers from the very beginning. We're very proud of that. My second concern is that if I did put the toque on, it could disturb as much as one hair, and that's as much as a 20% outfall, so I can't take that risk. But I have sponsored Martha, so make sure that she's committed to the full 10 kilometers, okay? So we'll wish you all the best. It's a great organization for the community, and certainly is fully needed. So we wish you the best on the project, and thanks for making that presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to receive the deputation. Councillor Twinney, Councillor Faig, all those in favor? Okay, and that is carried. Our next deputation, which was to deal with the end of door-to-door delivery, has been withdrawn, so we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Council minutes of January the 20th. Item number 4, can I have a motion with respect to the minutes, or are there any corrections? Councillor DiMuccio, Councillor Emanuel. All those, any corrections? Okay, all those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We do not have any correspondence or petitions. Reports by regional representatives. Regional Councillor?
Thank you very much. Just a couple of things to report on today under regional reports. The first one is that every year Waste Diversion Ontario, an independent organization, puts out a ranking and confirms the diversion rates of waste from landfill to recycling or organics, et cetera, for all municipalities in Ontario, some 400 and something municipalities. I'm very pleased to report that York Region's strong track record in this area continues. We have, again, ranked first among large urban municipalities in waste diversion in the province. Our diversion rate is 57.25%. 57% roughly. Next would be the region of Halton at 52, the City of Toronto at 51, Peel 48, Hamilton 47, and London at 44, to give you an example. Also, I think for such a large region, it's quite commendable to recognize that that as well as being first in large municipalities, in all municipalities over 400 in Ontario, we're 17th. So a very strong diversion record by the region, and we maintain that going forward. The other area I'd like to just briefly mention, an area I'm quite passionate about, which is an effort we've been working on for some time at the region through the Human Services Planning Board and the region of York itself, and that is in regards to private market rental housing and trying to encourage the right environment to see more or some rental happen. We have a Twitter hashtag called Make Rental Happen, and the next thing we're doing is, and I'm quite excited about this, is we're hosting a Make Rental Happen post-secondary student challenge. It's between February the 10th and April the 18th, and we just issued a press release today that this challenge is now starting. It's going to go out to university students, individuals or teams of students, possibly cross-disciplinary, so architecture, planning students, students working in social taken their studies in the area of social services, human services, policy planning, to try to innovate and achievable solutions in relation to potential rental housing options. This is going to be promoted across Canada, the United States, and even globally, and we're really looking forward to seeing what some of the young emerging leaders in our universities and our communities across the country can do to help us start to address this serious problem. It's going to raise awareness, but it's also going to give us some great ideas and help us move this project forward. I want to thank IBM, a partner on this project, and Make Rental Happen from the beginning, for continuing to support us. And there will be nothing like incentivizing students. We've all been in university, and a little cash goes a long way. There will be 3 prizes. The first prize is $5,000, the second prize is $3,000, and the third prize is $2,000. And looking forward to the competition. We'll have a reception and a recognition of the successful and some of the many entries we get, and hopefully this can drive some of our thinking and some of our ideas to new innovative territory, and ensuring that our community, the region, and in fact the GTA sees new rental housing options available for its seniors, its young people, and those of moderate and low incomes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. As members of council are aware, last Monday I participated in a meeting with Premier Wynne organized by the Civic Action Group, and it's dealing with the economic impact of traffic congestion in the GTAH, that's the Greater Toronto Area, and Hamilton. It's estimated that the economic cost of lost productivity exceeds $6 billion in the movement of goods, and it equates to about 32 minutes a day on the average travel time. North America's, or Toronto's, the GTAH travel commute time, incidentally, is one of the highest in North America. The meeting was organized by Civic Action Chair John Tory, Regional Chair Bill Fish, 6 of the 9 mayors of York Region, as well as the mayors of Ajax, Pickering, Burlington, and Milton were in attendance. The primary issues were around building public trust and a discussion around a lockbox arrangement that would identify and specifically hold whatever funding processes were put into place for transit purposes only. And this is very similar to the trust fund that was established when we set up the funding for the Vaughan subway. We were able to emphasize the need for a clear, specific, and a measured plan of action. And we emphasized there were a number of areas that are yet to be resolved, and specifically with respect to development charges, going towards the repair, the maintenance, and the building of roads, and also with respect to the GO Transit funding. Development charges were no longer available for GO Transit funding. The Premier at the same time indicated that the province spends about $2.5 billion annually on road projects, and that there was a need for municipal partners to make the issue real at the local level, and what it actually means to our residents. There was discussion about gas tax and sales tax revenues, referenced as most commonly preferred funding in these discussions, and the Premier was advised that similar discussions are planned with the opposition parties as well. The hope is to depoliticize the discussions and to focus on the need for action at the provincial level. And these discussions will likely be summarized and distributed by the Civic Action Group, and I'll circulate those items when they are available to members of council. Thank you. Next item is the reports of committees and staff. We have first the Committee of the Whole minutes of February the 3rd. Are there any items? Okay. Any items to be dealt with? Moved, seconded by Councillor Manuel. Any items to be dealt with separately? Regional Councillor?
Number 19.
Number 19. Okay. Any other items? Okay. There being none then, all those in favor of all the items with the exception of item number 19. All those in favor? And that is carried. Okay. Item number 19. I have that as the post-secondary update. Regional Councillor?
I'll move the recommendation.
Okay. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Councillor Kerwin. Okay. Regional Councillor as the mover.
Thank you very much. I just really wanted to just highlight this report for a moment, because I think the community is, I think, should be aware of the work we're doing in this area. This report is in relation to a post-secondary opportunity in Newmarket and the surrounding area. And I just want to highlight that, as the report points out, we've been working over the past 2 years with respect to post-secondary developments and potential opportunities for the town of Newmarket. Part of doing that was last fall we formed a post-secondary community collaborative working group we refer to with the dynamic acronym CCWG. And that's been established, and we also have the support of Delta Consulting Group, who have a great deal of expertise and experience in this area. We're developing a Newmarket-specific strategy for post-secondary investment, and both the mayor and myself sit on the CCWG, the Post-Secondary Community Collaborative Working Group. Also, I thought I should point out that, as the report states, there is a ministry policy framework that's been out, and there is expected to be more direction from the province in relation to a potential call related to post-secondary locations in the future for Ontario and Southern Ontario, and that we're doing a great deal of work in this area to try to understand the opportunity for Newmarket and York Region. Just really wanted to bring that to people's attention and highlight this work that we're doing. It's, I think, a very exciting opportunity for the area in general and Newmarket in particular.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Kerwin, as the seconder.
Councillor Taylor has explained.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Next item is the Committee of the Whole closed session, February the 3rd. Councillor Emmanuel, Councillor Sponga, all those in favor? And that is carried.
Briefly speak, gentlemen.
I don't think that's out. I don't think that's. That's item number 2. Okay. So first, let's deal with item number 1, the Economic Development Report, and that was closed session report number 2014-6, post-secondary education, and it was in camera because it related to a property matter. And I would ask for a motion that Council direct the CAO to continue to work on property matters related to potential land acquisition specific to post-secondary education while continuing to provide updates to Council, and that any land acquisition agreement be subject to Council approval. Could I have a motion to that effect, please? Councillor DiMuccio, Councillor Manuel. All those in favor? And that is carried. Also, item number 2 is Legal Services Closed Session Report number 2014-1, and that's with respect to an appeal to the Ontario Municipal Board from a decision of the Committee of the Adjustment. Could I have a motion, please, that the Corporate Services Closed Report regarding the appeal to the Ontario Municipal Board by owner of 235 Park Avenue from a decision of the Committee of Adjustment to deny an application for minor variance be received, and that the recommendations in the Corporate Services Legal Services Report be adopted? Could I have a motion? Councillor Sponga, seconded by Regional Councillor. All those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted briefly, Mr. Mayor, I know there's been a lot of interest from the residents in the area around Park Avenue with this specific recommendation. This is a recommendation that is in keeping with the decision of Council, an exercise that Council had asked in terms of intensification, severances, and build form within the older area. And we are maintaining a commitment that we made to the residents, and we're moving forward with that.
Thank you. Thank you. The third item is the Appointment Committee closed session. And could I have a motion, please, that the Appointment Committee closed session of January 21st be approved? Councillor Twinney, Regional Councillor. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Next item is bylaws. We have 3 bylaws, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first bylaw is 2014-07, which is a bylaw to amend the parking bylaw, and that's with respect to parking for restricted periods. 2014-08 is also a bylaw to amend the parking bylaw, and that's with respect to no parking on Northwest Newmarket. And 2014-09 is a bylaw to amend the parking bylaw with respect to no parking southeast of Newmarket.
Thank you. Does anyone wish any of these bylaws to be dealt with separately? Nope. Okay. Have a mover and a seconder? Could I have a mover and a seconder then? Councillor Manuel, Councillor Sponga. All those in favor? That is carried. Are there any notices of motion? Being none, announcements and community events. Councillor Manuel?
Just one, Your Worship, just a reminder to residents that the Ontario Municipal Board hearing for the application to develop the Glenway lands will be commencing on March 17th. It's a 6-week hearing, the first 2 weeks of which are dealing with the principle of development, and that will be taking place at the Best Western Voyager Hotel for that 6-week period, and residents can visit our website for all the times, etc., for any updates.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor DiMuccio?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Enjoy Family Day, that's coming up on Monday, February the 17th at the Magna Center. 800 Mulock Drive. Bring the family and enjoy swimming and skating. Schedules for Family Day are listed on the town page of the Era, and for further details, please call 905-895-5193. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sponga?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The public is invited to a drop-in to a public information center on Thursday, February 13th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. in the council chambers of the municipal offices at 395 Mulock Drive to discuss the proposed extension of the Tom Taylor Trail along the west side of Ferry Lake from Lauren Avenue to Water Street. Project drawings will be on display, and representatives of the town's engineering services department will be available to answer questions and provide information. Written comments can be submitted at the public meeting or by email by Thursday, February 20th. And for further information regarding this project, please contact Michael Ashworth at 905-953-5300, extension 2510, or email mashworth, Mashworth at newmarket.ca, or feel free to email myself at jsponga.ca, jsponga@newmarket.ca, and I will forward those comments over to Michael. Also, Mr. Mayor, through you, I would like to take this opportunity to thank and to congratulate Nelson and Boris in their opening of 2 very successful businesses on Main Street this weekend, Rolicious and the Hungry Brew Hops. And it's wonderful to see investments into downtown, and just welcome new businesses to Newmarket. Thank you.
Thank you. Regional Councillor?
Thank you very much. First of all, I just want to let people know that the Chamber of Commerce has their annual economic luncheon, very interesting event, and it'll be Tuesday, February the 25th at the Cardinal Golf Club, 11:30 to 2:30, and you can call the Chamber for information on that, 905-898-5900. That's February 25th. Also, just thought get some of the Olympic spirit going and keep going. It's been already an exciting start to the Olympics for Canada. And just want to remind everybody that Newmarket's own Gabby Daleman, who is, I believe, the youngest member of the Olympic team at the age of 16 years old. She's a former student at Pickering College. She is competing, and she will be skating her short program on Wednesday, February the 19th. So as many people in Newmarket as possible. February the 19th at 10 a.m. If you tune in, you're going to see the 16-year-old Gabby Daleman from Newmarket competing at the Sochi Olympics. So for everybody who can, try to tune in and cheer her on. Thanks very much.
Councillor Twinney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Children ages 4 to 10 are invited to Toyland at the museum. Come and enjoy Family Day fun at the Elmer W. Campbell Museum, 134 Main Street South on Monday, February 17th from 10 till 3. Try old-fashioned wooden toys and activities, see a model train, have your picture taken with the Pioneer Board, and go on a museum scavenger hunt. The cost is $3 per participant, plus a donation of a non-perishable food item to our Newmarket Food Pantry. You can call 905-953-5314 or email elmanmuseum@rogers.com for more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kerwin?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm beginning to like hanging out at the library on Saturdays. So on Saturday, February the 15th, and then again on the 22nd, and on March the 1st, the 3 Saturdays coming up, I will be in the lower level of the Newmarket Public Library, and for me that is the basement, at 438 Park Avenue. Ward 2 residents are invited to drop in for a chat about your community and your ward, and I look forward to seeing you there. And this is about my 7th Saturday that I've been there, and it's working out extremely well because in the lower level, which I refer to as the basement, there are all kinds of rooms where you can meet with constituents. So I hope to see some of you out there this Saturday, and again the following Saturday, and March the 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Vey?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just 2 announcements. First, on Monday, February 24th at 7 o'clock in the evening, right here at the Council Chambers, we have a public meeting regarding a condominium development in Ward 1. This development is at the foot of the west end of Silken Lawman. And I should say that this community really does hold a special place in my heart, having lived in that community for 10 years on Heddle Crescent, and over the last couple of months meeting with a lot of friends and neighbors regarding this development. This condo development, it has 28 units, and it's very similar to the condos. It's actually the same builder, very similar to the condos at the east end of Silken Lawman. It's going to be marketed to retirees and young couples, and the development will have a minimal impact on the traffic impact on the community, but there are a number of environmental issues that must be addressed. So I invite all members who live in the vicinity, who have an interest in that condo development around at the bottom of Silken Lawman, to please come here to our council chambers on Monday, February 24th, 7 o'clock for a public meeting regarding that development. Hopefully we'll be able to answer all your questions, and you'll be able to bring your concerns forward to this council too. The second thing I'd like to just bring up is at the Newmarket Library, we're starting a Tech Time for Kids, and this is a free bi-weekly program on the latest technology for children and their families. It'll be at the Newmarket Library, 438 Park Avenue. The first session is called BYOD, so bring your own device. It's going to be on Wednesday, February 12th, from 4 to 5. If you're having problems loading your ebook or have questions about configuring a smartphone, parental controls, or I guess for the young people, how to remove parental controls, connecting to Wi-Fi on your wireless device, or other similar issues, this is for you. So bring your devices and questions for some one-on-one help at the library, and a chance to see other devices and actions too. If you'd like more information about what's happening or information on future sessions, please contact the library at 905-953-5110. And that's all for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to invite our community to stop by the Newmarket Ice Lounge from now until February 23rd to catch all of the Winter Olympics games on the outdoor TV screen. As the Regional Council mentioned earlier, Gabrielle Delman will be there on February the 19th. James McNaughton will also be competing as part of the 4-man bobsled team on Saturday the 22nd at 11:30. In addition to that, we're inviting our community to join in on the conversation using Twitter or Facebook or Instagram using hashtag GoGabbyGo and hashtag GoJamesGo. And we invite you also to follow us on Twitter at Town of Newmarket for updates on all happenings in Newmarket, including events and broadcasting schedules at the Newmarket Ice Lounge. The municipal offices will be closed on Monday, February the 17th, to observe Family Day, And our next council meeting will be on Monday, March the 3rd at 7 p.m. New business items. Councillor Emmanuel?
Just one, Mr. Mayor, and I only raised this because we had the deputation request tonight that was withdrawn, but it was with respect to the community mail, door-to-door mail delivery being withdrawn by Canada Post. I just wanted to give council a heads up that the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, which I sit on the board, as you know, will be dealing with this matter at our March board hearings. There's been a number of communities that have passed resolutions. I suspect tonight was going to be a request to pass a resolution, but we'll be dealing with that matter in March, and I'll report back on the decision of FCM at our next council meeting after that.
Thank you. Councillor Kerwin.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just to the residents along Gorham Street, this week we will be removing the snow on both sides, and if you hear some trucks at night, we are working at night because that's a very busy street from 7 till 9 and again from 4 to 6, so we're trying to make it as easy as possible for the traffic to flow smoothly on Gorham Street, so we will be doing some night work, so don't be alarmed. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, there is no requirement of a closed session. Confirmatory bylaw. Councillor Sponga, Councillor Manuel, all those in favor? Carried. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Sponga, Councillor Kerwin, all those in favor? That is carried. That is carried. We're adjourned. Good. Yeah, Mr. McDougall. Very, very efficiently run meeting, Mr. McDougall.